Hello and welcome to our P&O Arvia vlog series. In this episode, we get off to a wet start in Cadiz. The 6th Street Diner wows us once again. In the Headliners Theatre, we experience something truly unique. And be sure to stick around until the end to find out what the late night venues are on Arvia.
Hello and welcome to slightly rainy Cadiz.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. The weather forecast had said that it was going to remain dry with a few clouds, but unfortunately it is absolutely pouring down.
Yeah, it's not been great this morning at all, has it?
No, not at all.
So let's talk about what we did. This morning got up not too early, did we? Probably about 9:30ish, so a bit of a lie-in really for us. And we headed to breakfast.
Yeah, we went up to the Horizon Buffet just so we could grab a few little bits for breakfast. Neither of us were feeling particularly hungry. I think that's the effect of having nearly 2 weeks on a cruise.
We're having much less for breakfast now than what we started with at the start of the cruise, aren't we?
Well,
So,
today anyway.
today. Sat in breakfast watching the rain outside. Not particularly appealing yet, is it, for us to get off the ship?
So we headed back into the Skydome, and the counter Sundays from 10:30 serves coffee. So we grabbed ourselves a couple of Costa coffees and then we took those to the front of the ship by the beach coma bar and just sat under the sheltered area on some nice comfy seats.
Yeah, that is a good little tip really, is that you don't have to go all the way downstairs, get a Costa coffee in the atrium. You can get it at other places around the ship, particularly takeaway coffees. We got ours from in the Skydome.
As you can imagine, it was a little bit quiet out on deck. Pretty much we hardly saw anybody because the rain was absolutely lashing down on the deck by now.
Yeah, we found a lovely little sheltered spot and sat there outside to drink our coffee. It wasn't too cold really,
No.
but it was very wet. So yeah, we were just biding our time really, so we could wait till we got off the ship when the rain stopped, fingers crossed.
The rain finally stopped and we decided to disembark.
We had been to Cadiz before, so we knew roughly where we were going, so we could head straight off the ship. However, there was one obstacle that we couldn't get on board, is that my card had faded slightly. My cruise card had faded slightly, so they couldn't scan me off the ship. So we had to make a detour to reception, and then a detour to Ripples to get my sticker for my Ultimate Drinks package put back on. So probably about half an hour later than planned, we did eventually manage to get off the ship.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward system they've got with the Ultimate Drinks package. So if you've got a drinks package, you get a little sticker on your cruise card, and that basically identifies to all of the waiters that you've got a drinks package.
Yeah.
And they can press something on their little
Tablet.
tablet to sort of make sure that it doesn't get charged to your account. Obviously, if you lose your cruise card, you go to reception to get a new one printed, but they can't just replace the sticker. You've then got to go to Ripples or somewhere else, and then they've got to check that you have purchased the drinks package, etc., and then they put a new sticker on your new cruise card.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit strange, a little bit
Yeah.
uncohesive.
Yeah, it does mean you've got to do a little journey around the ship before you can get everything you need. But anyway, eventually we got off the ship and into Cadiz. It was slightly rainy still, but
Yeah.
much better than it had been this morning.
It's very slippy, even inside the terminal.
Yes, yeah, be careful if you're going through that terminal in the rain, because it is like an ice rink, isn't it?
Yeah, and pretty much most terminals or cruise terminals that you get off, there's an area where you can connect to the free Wi-Fi and sort of check your emails and things like that.
Okay, so we headed off to explore Cadiz. We did know what we wanted to do today, roughly. So we first of all, we just had a little wander around the streets, looked at a couple of shops. Now, the streets of Cadiz are really traditional, quite narrow, cobbled streets, traditional Spanish buildings. It is nice to have a bit of history there.
It is a beautiful, beautiful town. The only problem is all the streets look the same and you can get lost very, very easily. And even though we knew where we were going and where we wanted to be, we got lost as well.
We did. So we found a few of the squares, we explored some of those areas. We came across one building that were inviting people in to look at some lovely Christmas scenes,
Yeah, the
nativity
Spanish,
scenes. We found this now in a couple of the Spanish islands and a couple of ports that tends to be what they like to do, create these little miniature villages. If you've seen what we saw earlier on in the cruise, it was something similar, but this time inside one of their local buildings. They had a little exhibition on, didn't they? So that was quite nice to spend only about 15 minutes in there having a look around. After our exploration of the nativity scenes, etc., we then headed for a little bit more of a walk, and we wanted to go to the Roman amphitheatre.
Yeah, last time we visited Cadiz, it was one of our go-to places. Unfortunately, it was closed that time, so we were really looking forward to getting in there and having a look.
Yeah, and this time we arrived there and it was very closed.
Very closed. Don't know why.
The entrance was boarded up with wooden planks, so we definitely weren't getting in this time. So disappointed on 2 occasions.
We then made our way back into the centre, found a lovely little tapas bar that we tried to get into last time, but it was fully booked because it was Easter. And we sat there and ordered some...
a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And then tried to order some tapas, and this time no tapas available because...
he was on his own.
He was out there. There was only one guy working there, so... we're not having much luck in Cadiz today, disappointingly, but it's still a beautiful place. We enjoy wandering around Cadiz. It's one of our favourite ports, isn't it? Cadiz does have a very, very nice beach. It featured in the James Bond film, the one where he gets out the water in those blue shorts, if you know the one I'm talking about. So if it's sunny and the weather's warm, head to that beach because it's a great place to sit and relax. But no chance of that happening today.
Not today, unfortunately. We sat there just catching up on messages and emails from home while drinking our beer in this lovely little side street in Cadiz.
Yeah, the Cadiz little houses and apartments have all got little like wrought iron balconies, and there's quite often flower pots and decorations on them. So it's nice to sit there and just have a look around, isn't it? After our time in the tapas bar with no tapas, we then headed back to the ship.
Straight back onto Arvia, and we were both a little bit hungry because obviously we couldn't get any tapas or anything to eat. We didn't want to go to McDonald's again, so we decided to get straight back on the ship, and we went up to the Quays. And we both had fish and chips from Hook Line and Vinegar.
Yeah, Hook Line and Vinegar is the name of the little kiosk there, and really nice, beautiful. Really nice. As we've said before, they do a beautiful little side of curry sauce, which is definitely worth having. And their chips are very tasty, aren't they?
Really good. You can also have pickled onions, pickled gherkins, as well as mushy peas as a side for your fish and chips.
There are 2 other counters as well in the Quays. There's the Asian fusion counter, which does things like katsu curry, and there's the roast counter, which does Yorkshire puddings and Yorkshire wraps. After a busy day in Cadiz and a nice meal in the Quays, we then had a little wander around the ship, headed back to our cabin and got ready for this evening.
After getting ready, back in the room, we then made our way down to the 6th Street Diner. Before we got there though, we did join the virtual queue.
Yes, so good tip, join the virtual queue in your room before you leave. Don't leave it till you get downstairs. It'll speed up the process much, much quicker for you. Yeah,
and pretty much within 20-25 minutes after joining the virtual queue, it was time to head to our table, which was absolutely fantastic really, because we'd just left the cabin.
Yeah. So we've talked about the 6th Street Diner before, and today is no different. We enjoyed our time in there. This time we had similar food to our first visit, didn't we? Because the menus changed back to the original one again.
Like the Olive Grove and the 6th Street Diner, they've only got 2 menus and they alternate every 4 days. So even though we were on the same menu as our first evening meal in 6th Street Diner, we wanted to mix it up a bit because there's so many delicious things on that menu. For starters then, we decided to try the honey cornbread with jalapeno butter.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
It was lovely. Really nice. Unusual though.
Very sweet. And then the jalapeno butter just gave it a little bit of a kick.
Yeah, that was quite nice, the jalapeno butter. And we did also have a portion of the churros with the dipping cheese in as well. Which
because they are absolutely phenomenal.
Really good.
I could have a main just with like hundreds of those churros with the chili cheese sauce.
Then for main, again, we switched it up a little bit. So I had the barbecue chicken. The Louisiana barbecue chicken was really tasty. Managed to finish that off. It came with a little bit of spinach on the plate as well as some potato. Fantastic. Really, really enjoyed.
And I opted to have the New York strip. It's sirloin steak. Asked me how I wanted it. Medium. It was actually beautiful. Really, really tasty. What we have noticed on Arvia is there is a lot of steak on the menus in pretty much all of the venues. I've never eaten so much steak on a cruise ship.
No, we've had a lot of steak, haven't
A
we?
lot of steak.
Yeah. In the main dining room, just to add that in, there's been steak on nearly every night as well. So there's if you like steak, great, because
We like steak.
We like steak. It's good steak as well. Back to Sixth Street Diner. We also had a plate of ribs to share in between. Now the ribs portion is not too big, so you get only 6 ribs. So we had 3 each, which was just enough to add a little bit of a side to our main course there, wasn't it?
Yeah. For dessert then, I decided to have the gooey St. Louis cake. It was okay.
I didn't know what was gooey about it.
No, it was a bit different, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was the best dessert I've had.
And I had the key lime pie. It was just okay as well. We were sat next to a couple who lived in America, and they assured me that that's not how key lime pie is served in the US. So
Yeah, but the top was like marshmallow,
it's
wasn't it?
marshmallowy.
And it was like an inch and a half thick. It was crazy.
So yeah, the top of the key lime pie was marshmallow. It really gave it a funny texture for me, so
Quite rubbery.
quite rubbery. So I wasn't a lover of it.
We did try to order a couple of glasses of wine with our meal, and on the back of the Sixth Street Diner menu, you'll find the list of available wines. Unfortunately,
Some of them are not available. So we ended up having 2 glasses of Chianti.
the meal in Sixth Street Diner was really good. We really enjoyed it. The service wasn't too bad today.
No, not too bad.
We were waiting a little bit longer than we had been on previous visits, but nothing too major. We then made our way to the Clubhouse because there's a new comedian on board and we wanted to watch his performance.
Yeah, so this comedian this time in the second week is Emmanuel Senoby. I hope I've said his name correct. And he was fantastic, wasn't he? Really, really good.
Yeah, his focus is observational comedy, very, very funny. It was just really interesting to hear about his life and his experiences, and everybody seemed to really enjoy him. The Clubhouse was, again, really, really busy, standing room only by the time his show started.
Yeah, so if you want to go and see the comedians, either last week and this week, we've noticed that they are very popular on board in the Clubhouse. So make sure you get there early. We've got another show from Emmanuel Senoby as well later on in the cruise, which is going to be his late night show, which I think will be a little bit more adult in nature, shall we say.
It'll be interesting. After the comedian in the Clubhouse, we were on our way to the Skydome when we passed the atrium.
And once again, those brilliant aerial acrobats were out, and they do put on a fantastic show, don't they? The core strength that they must have is amazing. And it's great to see some of their performances. So if you're walking past and you spot them on,
yeah,
make sure you stop and give them a watch, because it is heart-stopping stuff, isn't it, really, when you're watching them and they're hanging there and you think, oh, if they drop off. But they are good.
You'll be able to tell if they're performing because the atrium stairs, as well as the sides of the atrium, will be full of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very busy and popular.
We then headed up to the Skydome to watch this evening's performance, and it was from Pure Paloma.
Yes, a Paloma Faith
tribute act.
Yeah, we both like a little bit of Paloma Faith. She was really good, actually. She
really good.
She even sounded like her, which was incredible.
Yeah, the voice was fantastic. It's a good tribute act when they sound like her.
Yeah, that's true.
She did, and she had some good stories to tell. She was quite funny. Really enjoyed her performance.
Yeah, she really did get everybody involved. Walking round, and she was very brave in those heels to walk all around that pool.
Yeah, she did. She did a lap of the pool, didn't she, in those heels, which
very brave.
Give it a bit of a rocky movement at any point, and she would have been in, I think. So yeah, fantastic performance from Pure Paloma there, but We quickly headed back downstairs after that to the main theatre, where tonight's performance was from a vocal group called Odyssey.
Yes, so these Odyssey have been heavily promoted on board. Everybody's been talking about them, and we were really looking forward to get in to experience one of their shows. We arrived in the theatre around about 25 minutes before the late night show started, which is 10:30.
Yeah.
And good job we did.
Yeah, it's definitely getting busy there, isn't it? You need to be there early to make sure you do get a seat. Now, Odyssey are
really unique.
Really unique. They are a vocal harmony group. They also have one member of the band playing drums, isn't it? So, vocal harmony group, one guy on the drums. They're an international group from all different countries in Europe, aren't they? One from the UK, one from Germany, one from Switzerland, one from Sweden. So yeah, really interesting. They met on AIDA cruise ships, performing there, and then came together during lockdown to create the band Odyssey that is now. They gave me really pitch perfect vibes. So if you've seen the film Pitch Perfect, something similar to that, isn't it really?
Yes, so they did say that they were a cross between a vocal harmony group and an a cappella group.
Yeah.
Because a cappella don't use any instruments. Vocal harmony groups do use instruments. However, these guys sit right on the line because they only use a drum.
Yeah.
And the sounds they can create, absolutely phenomenal.
Just from four singers.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that there was no backing track, no backing music. They are incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going to see. I know they've been on a few different ships, so keep an eye out for Odyssey if you do get to see them. As we were leaving the main theatre after watching the fabulous Odyssey, we then noticed Madison was performing in Brody. So we like to listen to Madison, don't we? She is the onboard busker, and she pops up in different venues across the ship. But she's got a great voice, willing to take requests. She plays acoustically with her guitar. And as she was in Brody's, we thought we'd sit down for a little bit, grab a drink, and watch Madison. It's really the first time we've sat down properly in Brody's.
It wasn't what I was expecting. Obviously, we've been on pubs on a lot of other cruise ships, and Brody's has got a slightly different feel to other pubs at sea, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's very much a local, homely type of pub that you'd find in the UK.
Definitely gave us a very authentic pub feel, didn't it?
Yeah, so they've got dartboards, they've got pool tables, and it's been really, really popular. So we were really surprised after the show finished that we managed to get a couple of seats in there.
And this is the place on board that holds most of the quizzes. So if you're into quizzes and like a quiz, there's probably 3 or 4 quizzes a day of different sorts that go on in Brody's. So please check the horizon for all the different quizzes that go on. Hopefully we can get to do a quiz before we get off the ship.
Yeah, because we do love a quiz.
We do love a quiz. We just haven't had time to do them, have we?
No, so busy.
There's lots going on, so check out Brody's. To finish off our night, we then headed to the 710 Club for an unplanned visit, really. We only booked as we were sat in Brody's.
Tonight, the guys were performing American Vinyl Classics.
It is a fantastic venue, and the 4 performers in there are very talented, and it's definitely worth spending some time in there. And we are so glad we went in because it was such a party atmosphere in there. I've never seen it like it, really. Well, not everyone, but nearly everyone were up on their feet dancing and singing along. Definitely a great venue to be in, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really, really good atmosphere in there. The musicians in there were incredible. Towards the end, they took requests. They played a couple of extra songs after their set finished. Really, really good night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, as has become tradition, a little pit stop, a little stop at the late night buffet.
So tonight the evening buffet wasn't too bad because I managed to get together a chicken korma and rice, so I had a little bit of a late night curry.
And I opted just to have cheese and crackers because that's become my midnight buffet go-to now.
You like cheese and crackers. Mind you, it's very popular, isn't it, for the cheese and crackers?
It is.
There always seems to be a rush on late at night for that. You can also grab a Horlicks or hot chocolate from the late night buffet. So if you fancy a hot drink in the evening, that would be the place to go.
So that was the end of our day in Cadiz. Join us tomorrow for Lisbon, and we've been to Lisbon before, but we absolutely love it. We're going to try and get ourselves up the elevator. So fingers crossed, because there's normally a massive queue. Thanks for watching our day in Cadiz. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.